The new Israeli offensive comes as Egypt, Qatar, and the United States stepped up efforts to mediate a ceasefire agreement between Israel and the Hamas as the Gaza war entered its 10th month. The ceasefire negotiations seem to have regained momentum this week, with the head of Shin Bet intelligence agency traveling to Egypt for negotiations, while CIA Director William Burns is to meet with the Qatari Prime Minister and the Israeli and Egyptian intelligence chiefs on Wednesday in Doha. On Saturday, Hamas announced that they had abandoned the requirement for Israel to commit to a permanent ceasefire before signing an agreement. Instead, Hamas expressed willingness to engage in negotiations during the 6 week initial phase. However, Netanyahu on Sunday put forward a list of non negotiable conditions for any deal to be accepted, including principles unlikely to be accepted by Hamas. Given Prime Minister Netanyahu's actions that are making the ceasefire efforts underachieving, how will this conflict eventually end, and what lies ahead for this region? Throughout this video, we will take a close look at these issues and other developments in the region. Hang around till the end of this video and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Netanyahu's popularity plummeted after the 7th October attack by Hamas, which exposed serious flaws in Israeli security. Netanyahu is facing criticism from opposition parties, media, and families of Israeli hostages who accuse him of undermining efforts to reach a ceasefire and secure the release of the hostages for his own political survival. On Monday, a senior Hamas official accused Netanyahu of stepping up combat and bombardment in Gaza in order to derail the latest truce efforts. Opposition leader Yair Lapid has reiterated that Netanyahu would not be left without a safety net should he accept a ceasefire and lose the support of the government coalition members Bezalel Smotrich and Itamar Ben-Gvir. Netanyahu's government depends on the support of the two far-right ministers whose parties give the prime minister a majority in parliament. But the two have repeatedly threatened to resign and bring down the governing coalition should Netanyahu sign a ceasefire agreement with Hamas. During a session of his party's bloc in the Knesset, far-right finance minister Bezalel Smotrich has said any deal with Hamas would be a defeat and humiliation for Israel. He said, "We will not be part of a deal to surrender to Hamas. This deal is a defeat and humiliation for Israel and a victory for Yahya Sinwar. Hamas is collapsing and begging for a ceasefire. This is the time to squeeze the neck until we crush and break the enemy. To stop now, just before the end, and let them recover to fight us again is a senseless folly that will take the achievements of the war, bought with much blood, down the drain. We must continue until victory," Smotrich said on X. In Israel, protesters took to the streets across the country to press the government to agree to the Gaza ceasefire deal, which would bring back hostages still being held in Gaza. They blocked rush hour traffic at major intersections across the country, picketed politicians' houses, and briefly set fire to tires on the main Tel Aviv Jerusalem highway before police cleared the way. Israeli forces have demolished Amira School in the Masafer Yatta region in the southern West Bank. The school served 70 students from 1st to 5th grade. Demolition of schools by the Israeli army is not something new. According to the UN, Israel carried out 36 demolition incidents affecting 20 schools in the West Bank and occupied East Jerusalem from 2010 to 2022. In another incident, illegal Israeli settlers have bulldozed the northern entrance to the Palestinian city of Salfit in the occupied West Bank and blocked it with concrete blocks. The settlers have destroyed the entrance several times in recent days, blocking the main road connecting Palestinian towns and villages within the governorate. The settlers were from Ariel, one of the largest settlements in the West Bank, which is so close to Salfit that its sewage water has been known to pollute the Palestinian town's water. The Israeli army has issued a new evacuation order for Palestinians in several areas of Gaza City, including the Sabra, Remal, Tal al Hawa, and the Raj neighborhoods. The residents were directed to head to a humanitarian zone located in Al Mawasi, an area on the southern end of the Gaza Strip, that has previously come under attack by Israeli army. The latest evacuation order comes as the Israeli army intensifies its attacks on Gaza City. Earlier this morning, it launched new raids in its southern and western districts while pressing on in the eastern neighborhood of Shujaiya. Thousands of displaced Palestinians in northern Gaza have now sought refuge in one of territory's largest soccer arenas, where families now scrape by with little food or water as they try to keep up one step ahead of Israel's latest offensive. Israeli forces have attacked a gathering of people near the Hadithia junction in the Talas Sultan neighborhood, west of the Rafah city in southern Gaza. The attack killed at least 4 people and injured many others, the report said. Israeli shelling has killed at least 2 people and injured many others in the Sabra neighborhood in the south of Gaza City. At least 4 Palestinians have been killed in an Israeli raid on the Sujaiya neighborhood in eastern Gaza City. Israeli attacks across Gaza have killed at least 40 people over the past day, the health ministry in the besieged and bombarded territory says. At least 75 people have also been injured in Israel's attacks across Gaza, raising the total number of injuries since October 7th to 87,903. The new figures raised the overall death toll to 38,193, including more than 15,983 children and 10,637 women. The armed wings of Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad say they have targeted a number of Israeli soldiers and military vehicles throughout the besieged Gaza Strip. Hamas's Qassam brigades said it targeted a group of soldiers with homemade 114 short range Rajum rockets in the so called Netzarim corridor west of Gaza City. Netzarim corridor, named after a Jewish settlement in Gaza that was dismantled in 2005, was set up during the war by the Israeli army to separate northern Gaza from the south. Al Quds brigades said it shelled an Israeli military command center in the Netzarim corridor. The Al Quds brigades also fired a missile at the Zerot settlement and ambushed a Zionist force in Shujaiya, east of Gaza, as part of a series of operations in the Gaza Strip. The brigades confirmed that they targeted Sufa military site and military concentrations with a barrage of heavy mortar shells. Al Quds brigades also announced inflicting fatalities and injuries on a Zionist force of 7 soldiers during a surprise attack and engagement with appropriate weapons on Al Khulafa Street in the Sujaiya neighborhood. Moreover, Al Qassam brigades completely destroyed a Zionist Markava 4 tank with a Shawat EFP 3 explosive device, causing it to burst into flames on Baghdad Street in the Shujaiya neighborhood of Gaza City. While the Palestinians struggle with evacuation and the impact of Israel's shelling, millions endure the scarcity of basic necessities. Considering Netanyahu's determined actions to disrupt the ceasefire and the impending conflict with Lebanon, the challenges involved in achieving a peaceful resolution remain grim. The future of the region hangs in the balance, with the hope that a path to peace and stability can eventually be found amidst the turmoil. Stay informed and engaged with the latest developments in current affairs and international relations. Subscribe to our channel, post your comments, and join the conversation. Together we can understand and influence the future of global peace and stability.